Oh yeah, yeah. Curtain monitor sell out. Everybody was watching it, and I have to say, 2020 hindsight. I mean, there's parts where I said, "Yeah, this is every bit as bad as I remember," and as you pumped it up for however long we were trying to get it on Patreon to watch it. But it wasn't that bad. The mystery was, it was like one of those TNA reverse battle royals, but it was a reverse match. You had two really good workers on the outside, if not great workers, with Sojo Bolt and, of course, Awesome Kong. And then the girls that usually are managers or seconds are in the ring wrestling. I'm like, what is going on here? So the blame, the main blame for whatever you want to call this match falls on TNA for putting this together. And selfishly, I say is biased because I like Sharmell and I know her. You put Sharmell in this position because she's good. You put her in there and the kicks look good. Her character, she put her character into it. The basics of it, Sharmell did a great job. Jenna did what you expected her to do as a reality TV. I'm going to say the name you're going to like cringe at. A reality TV star. Get his face, Chris. Reality TV celebrity. How's that?
Oh, that's in quotation marks there. Because I don't think anyone's heard from her before or since. Okay, if you had to presume, do you think this is just purely Dixie Carter just... Because you said she was probably a fan of the show. And obviously she was a fan of reality TV because there was a lot of reality TV
dude, she
people
had to be.
on.
There's no way anybody who books wrestling would book Jenna anywhere near a ring or anywhere inside or anywhere in the impact zone. This is, can you see, and you can say one about Russo. Dutch definitely wouldn't have said, let's get the girl Jenna from Survivor. Cornette would 100,000, I bet every bit of AdSense money that it wasn't Cornette. And I can tell you from being a friend of his that Russo was not pushing for this match or Jenna to be in TNA. He might not have totally disagreed with it to get outside people, but my guess is this is a Dixie Carter idea. You know what'd be cool? That's what it is.
So Russo, because I was thinking it was either Dixie or Russo, but Vince has said, no, we didn't want this.
I don't think, I would be completely objective with this. I don't think Russo was balking at it to the degree that Cornette and Dutch would be because he wants to cross streams, but he's not coming saying, Dixie, we got to get this in and she's got to wrestle Sharmell. In other words, everybody's looking, this is my guess. And Dixie's like, this is what I want. This is what I want. Okay. I mean, we guess she has to have a match with Sharmell. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, what can we do with it?
Yeah, but why? Here's the thing. Why Sharmell? Because she also wasn't a wrestler. And as you said, Sojo Bolt and Awesome Kong were right there. They could have led her through a little bit better, I think.
The perfect booking for this would have been Booker and Sharmell versus whatever worker is working an angle with Booker and Jenna. And you have them come in for the very limited spots. And you also have Sharmell get heat on the male babyface behind the ref's back. That's the perfect mixed tag match. You protect those two, limit them to what they can do very briefly. You teach Jenna how to take one or two basic bumps, and that's it. I don't even know if she was trained or they just showed up that day and say, hey, get in the ring. It's 2 p.m. You'll be on at 8:30.
Do you know how they introduced Jenna to TNA? As like what her tie-in with the wrestlers were?
Was she one of the like assistants to one of the on-air authorities or something?
She was later revealed by Kurt Angle that Jenna Morasca was the financial backer of the Main Event Mafia. How does that work? Oh, and the money she provided was used to lure Samoa Joe to the stable, establishing Morasca as a heel in the process. Morasca was regularly seen bickering with fellow Mafia valet Sharmell, leading to the cat fight on May 28th edition of Impact, and then obviously...
Wait, but Sharmell acted like the babyface in the match, and Jenna acted like a... Sharmell, I mean, I just know Sharmell, so she can't be a heel to me. But yeah, she did some heel stuff, but they were cheering for Sharmell during the match.
Yeah, there was nothing to cheer for Jenna. at all. What was that pin at the... Oh, right, apart from the fact... I did this at the beginning of the show.
Say, when I'm hitting the mic. That
Lord. Pin. It wasn't that bad at the beginning, because obviously Sharmell was doing some kicks and they looked good and everything. Why did she wrestle in a dress? That's the other thing.
Yeah, your joke, it was funny, but it wasn't. Yeah, everybody from Patreon, I'll give you a preview. He was holding this in ever since the match. I could feel this is written somewhere. I got to get this jab in on Stevie. He's sitting there. He goes, well, Stevie, you have a lot of experience wrestling a dress. How hard is it? What's it you? And I'm like, you just tried to, it was like a drive-by jab that you got at me.
If it makes you feel any better.
You shot my 40, broke the bottle, the beer and the malt liquor went on the ground. Everything happened.
Dude, I only thought of it 5 seconds before I asked it. I only just made that connection as well, so I was not sitting on that one. But yeah, anyway, feathers everywhere, those slaps. And that's how she does it, like a T-Rex, like her elbows are glued, like she smells really bad, and she doesn't want to lift her arms up. Okay, I'm presuming you don't know this, but did she have any training at all in anything?
Well, looking back at the match, probably not. So, but I didn't. And usually I would be the one or other people that and that's another like bleacher sellout to watch the training. So nobody clued me in like, oh, they're training the Survivor girl in the ring. You got to see this, because that's a thing with that. And obviously, if I saw that, I wouldn't be laughing like, oh, someone's going to get hurt. I would go down and be like, we really have to get her ready. We have 45 minutes to get her ready for this match. I think we can do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm sort of presuming is that, damn, we've only got, Here's something else as well, is this match was at Victory Road 2009. You wrestled third on the card. They were fifth on the card. How they were a more important match than you, I don't know. But anyway.
I think I politicked for that. No, I did, because I didn't want to follow that. It's hard enough.
So you knew this was coming like way in advance as well, and you didn't want to be anywhere near it.
I think I looked at the match lineup. I wanted to be first. The best match on the show is first. If you're a worker, they haven't seen anything. Now, of course, there would have been blood. I bled. There was violence, so we needed to kind of put it a little further. But also, I wanted it earlier because it was essentially a squash. Based on all like heat, he was finally getting revenge on me. So in essence, the crowd would be into it, but the placement of it didn't really denote a 50-50 book match. So you needed it earlier. But yeah, I didn't want to go after that either.
Well, I was going to ask, do you think that match being on that card, because you've got Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, Samoa Joe, Sting, Kevin Nash, AJ Styles, loads of stuff there, and that's all that pay-per-view is remembered for, is Jenna Morasca and Sharmell, for the worst reasons possible. Do you think just having that on the card sort of took away from your match, even though it was after?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the memories of the pay-per-view, I have the memories of my match, and then obviously that one and the other. The thing is with the TNA pay-per-views too, they were kind of still special back then. So you get that whatever. I mean, I don't know if they even... See, TNA had a thing. It's like you list all the names here, and especially like, say, Chris Rock, he made that movie Head of State, and they used the footage of him appearing at TNA as part of his campaign in the movie. I don't know if they were counting on the ESPN coverage or mainstream news coverage of Jenna from Survivor Wrestling, because it wouldn't have done them any favors to advertise and show clips of the match.
Just because we were mentioning, and you mentioned this off air or on the Patreon, I don't know where it was. You said that Johnny Fairplay had told you he was making $250,000 a year in TNA. Here, it's saying that the contracts for 8 appearances, which amounted to less than an hour's worth of work basically on screen, he claimed he was paid $300,000 for a 2-year contract.
Well, if he's, I mean, it's still $150,000 a year.
Who's the most egregious TNA celebrity? Because I gave you a list earlier. Danny Bonaducci, who did wrestle. We might have to watch that in the future. Dennis Rodman, way after, he was in the public eye. the wrong Jersey Shore girls. You mentioned Chris Rock because they were doing sort of like a tie-in with a film in the Impact Zone. Tom Arnold, Patman Jones. There's more. Some of the most random people. Who's the country music singer? But that kind of made
Toby
sense.
Keith did the thing where he
made sense, yeah.
suplexed Jeff Jarrett on the weekly. He got into the Battle Royal, right? Jeff, that was good. Jeff, he was doing something, playing something, and Jeff shoulder bumped him from behind. And then Toby Keith got into the ring to do something to Jeff.
There was one, I think it's when they still had the four-sided ring, so it might have been back in the Asylum days, but they had like an NFL team in the crowd.
The Tennessee Titans, I believe.
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans, thank you. Anyway, they all got a bit rambunctious with Jeff Jarrett, and I think they really started hitting him.
Oh, yeah, they weren't. Well, yeah, a work punch to a 300-pound lineman is still going to be heavier than any wrestler's punches. But yeah, that's when you know what would be cool kind of goes wrong. And I'm sure Jeff is like, oh my God, I can't believe I booked this.
I think we can pretty much say that Jenna Morasca is the absolute worst celebrity ever to be associated with TNA wrestling. This is just from Wikipedia.
I would say there's a tie.
Oh.
Pac-Man Jones.
He didn't do the company any PR favors.
Not for what he did in the ring with them, but what was surrounding his career and the reason why he ended up going to TNA from the suspension from the NFL. And then just time and time again.
I have to read this from Wikipedia. Widely considered one of the worst matches in wrestling history. Dutch Mantell called it, quote, the worst match he had ever seen. Dave Meltzer gave the match -4 stars out of 5. And What Culture ranked it as the second worst TNA match ever. What say you? Is it the worst match you've ever seen? And can you guess what number 1 on the What Culture? Oh, yeah. That makes sense. I've just read it.
You're talking about
can you guess what the worst
match in TNA history?
Yes.
Wow, I can't think of that. Was Dixie Carter ever in a legitimate match? Because that would be the worst, in my opinion.
No, it was the main event of a pay-per-view.
Oh, Jeff and Sting.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Oh, yeah, that was bad for a whole bunch of scarier reasons than even this one. So, yeah, it's got to go down as the worst. But like I said, I put blame on TNA, number 1. I put blame on Jenna for accepting it and wanting to get in there and being in the deep end like instantly. And I don't blame Sharmell just because she knows what she can do and what she can't do. Now, Sharmell could have said no. I don't know why. Booker could have said no because that's a really dangerous spot to put somebody in. It really is.